Hello, this is Elaine Sugar, award-winning children's program facilitator and overall supporter of children's dreams. Welcome to the Empower Teen Self-Esteem podcast. We bring you ideas and resources that help teens shine and help ease parents' minds. Welcome to the Empower Teen Self-Esteem podcast. This is Elaine Sugar, and I am here with a very good friend of mine, Jackie Simmons. We are going to be talking about emotional cage fighting, and I am looking forward to having Jackie explain to you exactly what that is and how you do it well. So, Jackie, welcome to the Empower Teen Self-Esteem podcast.
Thank you very much, Elaine. I am very happy to be here.
I am happy to have you here because I know about all of the important work that you do on behalf of teenagers, and I know the support that you give parents and all caregivers of teenagers. So I thank you personally, and I know that by the end of this interview, everyone's going to understand exactly what you do and the importance of what you do. So tell us first what it is that you do.
All right, so let's start with the very beginning. I am the mother of a teen suicide attempt survivor. That's my qualifications for being the director of the Teen Suicide Prevention Society. Now, having raised 3 teenagers, okay, they're now all grown. As a matter of fact, I've got teenage grandsons now. So I raised 3 daughters. I got 4 grandsons that are like pushing 18 at the end of this month, the oldest one. So what I know about teenagers still will fit on the head of a pin. It is a science that I have not mastered. But what I do know is that our teens are facing something a little different now than my daughters were dealing with, than I dealt with. So being the parent of a teen is not an easy thing. Elaine, do you remember when people said, you need to have the talk with your kids about drugs? You need to have the talk with your kids about alcohol, or the talk about sex? Those talks did not go so well for me as a parent. You ever seen a kid's eyes glaze over? Anytime I brought up, we need to talk, it was never easy. It was never fun. And when it came to the talk about sex, I said something about, let's have the talk, and we're going to talk about sex. And my daughter said, yeah, Mom, that's fine. What do you want to know? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I waited a little long for that. So this is the problem. I did a public service announcement as the director of the Teen Suicide Prevention Society. We put together a great little thing. Remember public service announcements? Like the one that says, this is your brain.
Yes.
This is your brain on drugs, with the egg. I thought that was brilliant. I liked the one about sex that they did. They had 2 parents talking to a 13-year-old, and the parents were talking together. So it was 2 against 1. Parents were standing, the kid was sitting at their desk, and the parents are saying, honey, nobody's saying sex is bad. We're just saying that at 13, it will kill your dreams. So it was this very instructional, the one about drugs and the egg, that was fun. This is the instructions that I got. And I thought, well, maybe a public service announcement about how do you talk to your kid about suicide? Because anybody listening, just FYI, if you haven't had the talk with your teen about suicide, I want to prepare you in advance, because they might treat you the same way my daughter treated me about the talk about sex. And they may turn to you and say, yeah, what do you want to know about it? The odds are your teen has a friend who's tried and at least one friend who's died, at least one of each. Those are the odds. And I know this from my own going into the local high school and giving a talk to a group of teens. And at the end of the talk, we went around the room I mean, I told them all about our program, our Make It a Great Day book. We were rocking. It was fun. And then I said, hey, do you have a story? Do you have a friend who's tried or died? And they went around the room. And one kid after the other shared. One young lady lost her first friend to suicide in elementary school, and her second friend just the year before. She was only a sophomore. That's the problem. Over 3,000 teenagers will attempt to take their own lives today, and that's just in the US. It's not the number that normally gets reported. What normally gets reported are not the kids who try, but the kids who die, because that's our focus. We've got a bigger problem than we think. So once we realized we had a bigger problem than we thought, we needed to figure out a way around it. You know what we discovered? We discovered this great idea. We could create a talk that parents could have with their teens before they think it's needed. Because most of the suicide prevention programs are pointed at risk. You only have that talk as intervention if you think somebody's struggling with suicidal thinking. And that's a very reactive method. And I am a proactive person. So we started answering a different question. And we created the talk that stops suicidal thinking from getting stuck in someone's heads. It actually coats them with emotional Teflon. It gives them a break. And I came up with this great idea. Public service announcement, one of these video things. And it starts with, Mom, Dad, is your teen at risk? Did you wait to talk to your teen about sex until after they were pregnant? Or to talk to your teen about drugs till after they were in rehab? Or to talk to your teen about alcohol until after they lost their license for drunk driving? Are you waiting to talk to your teen about suicide? I thought it would get people's attention. What I got was crickets. And that's when I realized it's because we're not having the talks the way we used to. The days of sit down talking with our kids have been replaced by them getting the education in schools and by their smartphones and their friends. So we needed to do something that would make this a little easier for parents. So we did. And it's called The Talk That Saves Lives. And Elaine, rather than talking about the talk, can we just do a demo? Can I walk you through it?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so here's the invitation. We're going to pretend that we did this part yesterday. You ready?
Okay.
Okay. Elaine, I've joined the mission to make teen suicide a thing of the past. They gave me a guide that I need to practice. Would you have 10 minutes tomorrow that I can practice with you?
Sure.
Awesome. All right. So now it's now. Hey, Elaine.
Okay.
Thank you for being willing to help me practice the guide. It's only 4 questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Elaine, question 1. Have you heard about the rise in teen suicides?
Yes.
Thank you. Question 2. Elaine, do you have a story? Do you have a friend who's tried or died? If you have to think that hard about it, don't worry. You can tell me no.
Yeah, I'm just,
It's okay. Leave it there.
yeah, I don't think so. Not,
Okay. Thank you.
okay.
Question 3. Elaine, have you ever thought of leaving that way?
Yes.
Thank you. Elaine, question 4. Why stay? What are your reasons for staying?
Because I have people here that love me, who I love, because I know in those moments where that would have crossed my mind, that it's a passing moment, that I move forward, that things get better. I believe that God put me here for a reason, so here I stay.
Why else? What else?
Why else would all those reasons weren't enough?
Well,
I know it's the right thing to do.
okay,
I
I'm
know
gonna
it's
give
the
you
right
some
thing to
help.
do. Okay, help me.
All right, here's another way to look at it. Elaine, what's so good about your life that you want more of it?
Oh, there are wonderful people in the world, such as yourself. There are wonderful experiences still yet to be had. There are good things that I want to do for people. I love giving back. I love partnering with people. So there are things that I'm looking forward to.
There you go. Cool. And Elaine, thank you so much for helping me practice. May I give you a gift?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, my gift for you and for all of your listeners, I have two. The first gift I want to give them is a mindset reset tool. So this is
Okay.
the gift that keeps on giving. This allows them to improve their mood and attitude for 6 to 8 hours in only 3 minutes, and there are no drugs involved. So they
Wow.
can, and this is a gift from the Teen Suicide Prevention Society, and they're going to get it at emotionalteflon.com. So I put that into the chat so you can have it for your show notes.
Okay.
So that's the first gift, is a mindset reset tool. And that's the gift we give all of our practice partners when someone's willing to let us practice the talk. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret. Okay. I tricked you into having that talk with me. And here's what happened in your brain. When we started talking about teen suicide rates, that's a concept. When we started talking about, do you have a friend who's tried or died? That's bringing it closer. When I asked if you had ever thought of leaving that way, that brought it inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then when your brain is fully engaged with your experience, I asked you, why stay? What are your reasons for staying?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened in the brain is all of that electrical energy that was focused on suicide got stripped away and put over in a brand new neural network. And the more you talked about reasons for staying, the more your brain started building out this new neural pathway. And then it started building out a file folder. And the file folder of what you were saying has a label on it that says reasons for staying. And because you were the one saying these things, not me saying them, your brain, it got it on all different levels. First it thought it, then you said it, and then you heard yourself say it. So you got a triple reinforcement of this idea that you have reasons for staying. And that's a new filter in your brain. Because what we know is that suicidal thoughts are normal. They're a natural part of your worst case scenario problem solving mechanism. Freud said suicidal thoughts are normal. It's getting stuck in them. That's the problem. When we're afraid of them, and then we're afraid to talk about them because we don't want people to worry about us.
Yeah.
We don't want people to think there's something wrong with us, or we might need to go see somebody, or heaven forbid, we get a label of a mental illness, a diagnosis.
Yeah.
And what's even worse, if people live in a state where professionals have to report, they're afraid of being put into a 72-hour psychiatric evaluation hold.
Right.
And I can understand why they would be. The doctors and professionals are not given a lot of leeway with that. And the reason I know this is I interviewed the director of the Suicide Institute in New York City. This man spends his days helping mental health clinicians handle their suicidal clients, you know, how to handle them. He had a new primary care doctor. You ever go to a new doctor's office? You know, first thing they do is what? Hand you this stack of paper.
Yes.
Well, he filled out his stack of paper, gave it back to the nurse. She says, "Oh, great. Thank you so very much. And, oh, are you sure you want to answer this question this way?" And he's like, "Well, I'm not going to lie. And next thing he knew, he was in a wheelchair with an armed security guard on either side of him. And he was escorted into the psychiatric intake ward.
Wow.
Luckily, one of the nurses who works there recognized him and was like, "What are you doing here?" This man spends his whole day helping the mental health professionals handle suicidal patients. And to take him out of circulation for 3 days, this was just like all wrong. Had not good written all over it. There is such a power in fear that shuts us down from talking. So when we realize that this is why people are getting stuck in suicidal thinking, because as soon as you've got a thought that you don't want to think about, what do? Try not to think about it. You ever tried not to think about something, Elaine?
Of course.
If I said, don't think about an elephant. Yeah. All of a sudden we have prancing pachyderms everywhere.
Yes.
So here's what we created. This talk that we just walked through with you and all of your listeners got to hear actually breaks open a negative echo chamber without triggering anything else, because it is so precise. And this is why we train people to do it. Now, the whole training program has 4 pillars. There are 4 pillars in what we believe creates permanent buffers for people. You know, backs them away from an edge that they don't even know that they're near. The first piece is the talk we just did. The second piece is, how do you look at yourself through eyes of kindness? How do you get to know, like, and trust yourself? And so that's what I want everybody to have, is the know, like, and trust yourself assessment. Okay. And so we've got that up on a website for you guys. So this is what we call the KLT factor assessment. And I am dropping that link into the chat. It's simply youcan'tdoitwrong.com. And that is our gift for everybody. They can get the know, like, and trust factor assessment. They can find their own KLT factor, and they can find ways to improve it. It is all there for them. And that is my second gift for everybody.
Those are some value. You have the coolest stuff, Jackie. You really do. You have the coolest stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving that to our listeners.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, I know that when you put this show up and you put everything in the show notes, that they'll be able to find out more about the Teen Suicide Prevention Society. They'll be able to find out more about the talks that save lives, you know, and they'll actually be able to see my website on that, see my TED Talk on that website. So we got that connected, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, I've seen that TED Talk a couple of times. It's very powerful. You did a great job with that, and I think it'll be great for our listeners to watch it with their parents, to watch it with their teenagers. I think that is a great idea.
I think that's a great idea too. And if your listeners would make a comment on that TED Talk, I would so appreciate it. So I'll make sure that you've got the right web addresses and everything else.
Excellent.
Make it really, really easy for you. Cool. What else do you want to know today?
You know what? I heard you in another setting say that, and this might surprise people because it was definitely new for me to hear it referenced in this way, but you said that suicide prevention should be fun. And I have never heard anyone say that. So what do you mean by that? And what makes you say that it should be fun?
If you're having fun, are you suicidal?
No.
Okay, that's why suicide prevention should be fun. Now, here's why it seems like such a crazy idea. Suicide prevention programs, after my daughter's first attempt, I went hunting for them. And they are all geared to answer the question, how do you stop suicide? Makes sense, right? Except that it means that they're all pointed and working with and doing these courses for people who are at risk of taking their own life, because they're trying to stop the act. Now, I've been a stress management consultant for over 30 years. Reaction is the area that people want me to get them out of. So in my business, I had I still do have a lot of strategies and ways to prevent a stress reaction. There's nothing more stressful than being trained to react if somebody's at risk or having to watch for signs. If you're looking for signs, you are creating anxiety in yourself and your child.
Yeah.
So once we realized that this was probably not going to be a place I was going to be comfortable playing, because it's the opposite of what I believe. I believe in pure prevention, in proactive prevention. So that's what we did. We asked a different question. Instead of trying to answer the question, how do you stop suicide? We started trying to answer the question, how do you stop suicidal thinking from getting stuck in someone's head? What we call a negative echo chamber. And that's how this talk that you were gracious enough to practice with me, that's how it came about, is we decided, how do we answer that question working with the teen's brain the way we know a teen's brain works? Because, you know, they're missing a part of their brain. You know, the prefrontal cortex is not fully developed. So we had to get something that was going to get past. It was going to work with the brain with that piece missing. It had to work with the brain if that piece was present, because we didn't want to create two. We just wanted one that would work for everybody. It also had to have an early warning system built into it. So here's how it has the early warning system built into it. And after thousands of talks, I can speak to the accuracy of this. Here we go. If the person you are practicing with has thoughts of leaving, they answer yes to question 3. And when they get to question 4, they don't have any reasons for staying. Zip. When we ask, what's so good about your life you want more of it, they don't have a single answer. They're not even willing to make one up. We stay with them and dial 911. That, parents, is the hardest call you'll ever make for 2 reasons. 1, because it means you're admitting that your child is in danger. That's number 1. 2, it's because your child might hate you. And the good news is they might be alive to do that for a long time. You might save their life. So that's the only time that you need to do intervention, when you're practicing this talk. And after thousands of talks, the number of people that we have dialed 911 and intervened, zip, 0. Because if someone is at that place, they don't agree to have the talk. And if somebody doesn't agree to have the talk, that's when you want to be referring them to a suicide intervention hotline. You want them on the phone with a trained intervention specialist if they are willing to do that. And if they're not willing to do that, you want them to hear 3 words from you. Don't do it. When someone doesn't agree to help with this, with the way that we've crafted the invitation, then we know they're probably in trouble. And so then you start treating them as if they're at risk, and you get them some help. You check in with them. You let them know that you care. And that's why we have partnered with the people we have partnered with, so that you are not without resources ever. We call the people who take level 1 of our training, the talks that save lives, we call these people talkers, because that's all you're going to do. When someone decides they want to take all 4 pillars, the talk that saves lives, the talk that helps you get to know, like, and trust yourself better, we call that the cure for negative thinking. We've also got the talk that helps you build boundaries and bounce bullies right out of your life. That's the talk to stop bullying. And the 4th pillar is the talk that helps you make peace with your past, so that you can be present now and create a future that you love. So that's the talk to stop self-sabotage. And that's what we do. We help you stop self-sabotage, stop bullying, stop negative thinking, and prevent the negative echo chamber of suicidal thoughts.
Wow. That is so wonderful and powerful and accessible
Mm.
easily.
And
Um,
it's a lot of fun. Pure prevention is fun.
yeah.
Being proactive is fun. I mean, come on. That's why you don't wait until you're dying of starvation to eat, and
Mhm.
eating is fun.
Yes.
Same principle here. You don't need to wait until they're in trouble. Go ahead and have fun. Ask them to help you practice. Oh, and by the way, when you ask someone to help you do something, what happens in their brain? Don't they get happy? Don't they feel like I'm special because I can help? Kids love to help. You just watch any 2-year-old, they will help you sweep the floor.
Yes.
They
Yes.
love to help. Kids love to help. So do adults. So when you ask them to help, you've already lit up part of their brain. And that's why I said, if they say no, that part of their brain's not lighting up. That's why we know this is someone you're going to want to be making connection with and saying, is there something you want to talk about? Let's get you on the phone with somebody that you can talk with. You get them on the phone with a stranger, because it's easier to talk to a stranger than it is to talk to someone who may know the possible players in your pain.
Hmm.
So that's my big takeaway for everybody. Don't wait. Have the talk. Save a life.
And have some fun.
And have some fun. There you go.
You are a lot of fun, Jackie. I know from working with you and getting to know you over the past few months, I know the story, but I'm just thinking about some of our listeners. And it's all right if you don't want to go into it, but you mentioned your daughter and her attempts. So I would imagine, if nothing else, our listeners are wondering how your daughter is doing today. So anything you want to say on that topic, at minimum, just let us know how she's doing today.
No problem at all. My daughter is pushing 40 now.
Ah.
And she hates it when I say that. So I love to say it. So this is my middle daughter. And for anyone who wants the whole story, that's in the TEDx talk at Teen Suicide Prevention Society.com.
Yes.
The short version. After she attempted at age 14, as long as she was getting professional help, I sold myself on the idea that we didn't need to talk about it. And so we didn't for over 23 years. We talked around it. We talked about other things, but we didn't talk about suicide directly. And on August the 3rd, 2019, my daughter Stephanie broke the silence in a very public way. And if she had done it any way other than she did it, I think I probably could have found a way to ignore it and continue to avoid the talk. After that day, we started to work together. Who knew that was possible? Together, we co-founded, along with her sisters, the Teen Suicide Prevention Society, which is a 501c3
Beautiful.
charity. And so now we are on this journey together.
That is so
thank you
awesome.
for asking.
I love the ending. That's why I wanted everyone to hear it. And you definitely should look at the TED Talk. So how do people give you donations? And then tell us about your book.
All right. Teen Suicide Prevention Society.com. There's a donate button there somewhere. We'll make sure you can find it. We absolutely accept donations. It's how we manage to keep the talks at the price that we have them. And sometimes, like in the month of September, we were able to give a bunch of that training away for free. So that's due to the generosity of our sponsors, to the people who've hosted fundraisers for us. Amazing people like the Essential Academy hosted an entire gala for us last month. So we are very, very grateful for our partners and sponsors and donors. And your other question was about the book.
Yay. It's awesome.
The book, The Elephant in the Room. I call it The Elephant in the Room because it has an elephant on the cover. And I'm so excited about the elephant. So The book is Make It a Great Day. The choice is yours. And the link will be in the show notes. You can also find a link for it on our website, of course. Just go to actually, I'm going to put a button up there that says partners. And there's one there for partners already. And then we'll have it where it's easy for you guys to find. Yeah.
That's
but
awesome.
Yeah, come to the website, take a look around, and join the mission to make teen suicide a thing of the past. Please, one is too many to lose.
100% agree. Again, like I said at the start, I knew by the end of this, everyone would see exactly how important it is what you do. Now, as we are about to close out, let's make sure that we let everyone know if there's anything else that you have coming up that you want to share, or anything that you would like for us to do in addition to. So we know we need to look at the TED Talks, and you're sharing links, and you have the book out. Is there anything else we're forgetting?
I cannot think of anything that you're forgetting. And matter of fact, I am going to give you a direct link to the book if somebody just wants to get it really fast.
I think that's awesome.
Be in the show notes too. So there'll be 4 links in the bottom of the chat, and those will be the ones that you're going to want. And I so appreciate the opportunity to be here, Elaine. I really, really do. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, darling.
I certainly will. And now, we started this out by saying we were introducing everyone to emotional cage fighting. So that word choice, as we get ready to depart, just explain to us, leave us with what you have given us. How are we now equipped to be emotional cage fighters?
When you have that talk with someone, you are coming in and doing battle. It is a lot of fun, like playing Battleship or that old Rock'em Sock'em Robots. It's a lot of fun because they don't even know that you are retraining their brain. They don't know that that's what's happening. And for teens, this is really important because they live with such anxiety about losing a friend, that when you give them these tools where they can go and do some emotional cage fighting, they can save a life. Matter of fact, we encourage everyone to save 20. So emotional cage fighting is getting the tools from the talks that save lives and then inviting a friend into the cage with you. Let's go.
I love it. That's fantastic. Of course, emotional cage fighting is fun. It's a great name. You start already thinking, wow, that should be fun. We have wrestling, right? Why not emotional cage fighting? Well, Jackie, you have been a fantastic friend to me that I've only met recently. And the things that you have opened my mind to, made me aware of, partnered with me on a fantastic mental wellness and positivity experience event. You are involved in so many wonderful things, and I am so honored to have been able to partner with you on an event. And now I know for the rest of our lives, we will be connected and continuing to hold this event annually. So I'm looking for you to shake your head yes, so that it's recorded in history that you have a lifetime.
Not a chance. I know you too well. But thank you for trying.
Yeah, no, the work you do is fantastic. And I thank you on behalf of all our listeners. We will definitely put all of the gifts, they are definitely gifts, in the details in the comment section when we post this on YouTube. So thank you so much for everything you've shared today, everything we're passing along to our listeners. And to our parents and our teenagers, I want to thank you so much for joining me for this very important, impactful, and fun episode of Empower Teen Self-Esteem. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Empower Teen Self-Esteem. Please follow Kids More Sugar on social media. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel to show that you support this content. And you can visit our website at kidsmoresugar.com to to learn more about our free online kids program. Thank you.